Very good afternoon, friends. So we are discussing about these types of maintenance. So we have already discussed the three major types as planned maintenance. In planned maintenance, preventive, corrective, and predictive. Unplanned maintenance, emergence. So in the last lecture, we have discussed this preventive maintenance, then this running maintenance, scheduled maintenance, shutdown maintenance. Okay. So running maintenance, it is once again I will take a recap. So it is when the machine is in actual working condition. So lubrication, adjustment of nut and bolts, or tightening some of the parts, it comes in with. The scheduled maintenance. It is the scheduled visit. So we have taken one example. We have discussed one example that in this you can take the example of bike. After maybe 2000 kilometers or after maybe 3 months of period, whichever is lesser, whatever given by the suggested by the bike manufacturer, car manufacturer, it is the car or bike is taken for the maintenance and visit to garage, and the changing of oil and some carburetor filter cleaning or some alignment in case of four-wheeler checking, whatever the parts are there, that will be in this. So this is scheduled maintenance. We already discussed. The shutdown maintenance. These activities are carried out when the production line is total stoppage situation. So this may be after 3 months or 6 months, depending upon the condition. Then corrective maintenance. So now we will discuss about this corrective maintenance. So in this type, actions such as repair, replacement, or restore will be carried out after the occurrence of a failure in order to eliminate the source of this failure or reduce frequency of its occurrence. Very, very important. It is activity of repair, replacement, or restore after the occurrence of failure. So corrective maintenance, there is somewhat failure of any part, any machine is not working, something is happened. After the occurrence, this step is taken. So this is very important. It also includes different type of action like typical adjustment of redesign equipment. So the difference between this corrective and preventive is that corrective failure should occur. The failure should occur before any corrective action is taken. So in this corrective, something is happened. The gearbox is not working, it is jammed, or some noise, or some more vibrations, and we cannot operate the machine, or something. So some failure is occurred, and after that failure, the action is initiated. This is the corrective maintenance. Again, there are two types. So this is the difference between corrective and preventive. Preventive, it is not the case that let something occur, let something happens, or failure of part occur. It is a schedule. Preventive, so prevention is better than cure. In order so that it will not fail in this regard, the maintenance is started. So this is corrective. Then breakdown maintenance or shutdown maintenance. So there are two types: breakdown and shutdown. Breakdown, in it is an emergency based policy in which the plant or equipment is operated until it fails, and then it is brought back into the running condition by repair. So it is in this emergency, something is breakdown. So the equipment is operated until it fails. So it is the policy that we will wait. No one will go for the preventive type maintenance as far as that equipment is concerned. Let it fail, and then it will be brought to back to the working condition after failure by doing repair. The maintenance staff locate any mechanical, electrical, or any other fault to correct it immediately. Okay, the fault is identified and action is taken accordingly. It is feasible. Okay. It is feasible for small factories where there are few types of equipment. So where this breakdown is preferred over the other preventive or other cases. So where there are very few types of equipment, so lesser equipments are there, then the machine and equipments are simple and does not require any special. So general purpose machines are there, simple machines are there, and no any specialist for after breakdown for repair or for replacement work. No any specialty is required. There are very few equipments in that particular small factory, and where sudden failure does not cause any serious financial loss. This is very important. If any lathe machine is failed, if any drilling machine is failed, it will not cause a serious financial loss. Means there is not that much dependency. It is therefore it is mentioned small factories. If it is line system, the sequence is scheduled. That drilling after lathe, then milling, then grinding, and then inspection. So in between, if for example lathe machine will fail, then all the parts are get blocked before the lathe machine. They cannot proceed further for the grinding and other operations. So this is the condition in case of mass or continuous production or line production. So here, for the sudden failure of this lathe machine, it will not have that much serious financial loss, where this breakdown machine is preferred. Now, next, friends, moving to the next type, that is a predictive maintenance. Predictive, to predict. As the name implies only, it involves the prediction of failure before it occurs. To predict that there will be failure. The failure will occur on this machine, in this gearbox, in the bearing, in the motor, whatever. Before it occurs, and identifying the root cause of failure or those failure symptoms and eliminating those causes before they result in extensive damage of the equipment. See, this is the failure. It predicts before it occurs. It identifies the root cause, that why that failure will occur, and taking some measures, eliminating those causes before they result in extensive damage. So it will not wait that okay, now the failure is started, let us wait up to breakdown. So this is no use of the predictive maintenance. Try to eliminate the causes. Because of that causes there will be failure, so that there will be not any extensive damage. The type of maintenance performed continuously or at intervals according to the requirement to diagnose and monitor a condition or a system. The predictive maintenance is the maintenance which is continuously performed or at regular intervals it is performed according to the requirement. And here is the diagnose, to diagnose that which type of defect will be there, and to monitor a condition. So here is the word in a bearing terminology, there is one word, condition monitoring. So it involves continuously check for that bearing. Also it is called as condition based maintenance. So this is also called as condition based maintenance. So before proceeding further, here are 2-3 different sample images that I want to show you. So you can see here the maintenance of any of the motor electric, that the person is checking with the help of machine. The motor is running still. In the third, again you can see there are different sensors attached to the machine, and the person is continuously observing. Depending upon the signal, again you can see there is one instrument available, bearing checker. So the when the bearing is in running condition, or wherever inside the bearing is running, again one has to put that bearing checker. So it will generate some symbols, vibration and noise. And this vibration, frequency, noise, they will plotted, and you will get a plot, and you will come to know that whether it is running as per the requirement or it is not running as per the requirement. Is there any chances of the flaws or defect or something else? And this will be decided based on the signals that one will get. So here a typical vibration analysis, so FFT analyzer is there, and using this FFT analyzer, so you can see the vibration. So the motor vibration is mentioned, then the coupling vibration, then this bearing vibration, here two peaks, then the gear vibration, again this is motor vibration. So depending upon this, it is analyzed that okay, now this should be, what should be the desired vibration set, it is also there, and what is actual that we are getting by using that bearing checker, it is also there. So when the machine is running, like some these are the different checks, this is called as condition monitoring of the bearing. And then it is predicted that now okay, the bearing there is started some, it will not working as per the requirement, and there will be some so bearing will fail in next 6 months, 3 months, or maybe after 5 lakh revolutions, 5 you can say million revolutions, it will fail. So something like that. So this is nothing but the predictive type maintenance. Friends, let us move further, the unplanned maintenance. So name only indicates the maintenance action which is carried out without any forethoughts or prior planning. So here there is no any prior planning, no any thought about discussion or thought about that maintenance. It's called as unplanned. Totally, this is not in according to plan. Emergency maintenance is one of the example of this unplanned maintenance. So emergency, Maintenance is also, you can say, the one of the example of this unplanned maintenance. So in this type of maintenance, the maintenance action is executed with the help of available maintenance resources in least possible time without any major time lag. So you can say, when you will come to know that this type of maintenance is occur, immediate action is taken with the available resources in the shop floor and try to make it in the original position without major time lag, so as early as possible. The examples here, some of the given, that gas leakage in the chemical plant or some fire hazard, so totally unplanned maintenance, some fire hazard. Then you can see the gas leakage in case of any chemical plant, then breakdown of boiler, then the turbine. So here there are many cases you can see. So these are the examples. The gas leakage, or you can say in a chemical plant, in sugar industry, any of the tank leakage. So it is not as a prior decided. So any fire hazards in any of the industry, then this breakdown of boiler, sudden stoppage of this, then turbine, breakdown of turbine, sudden stoppage. So like that you can consider, go for the many examples, and this is the unplanned type maintenance. Now, nature of maintenance problem. Maintenance can be classified as, there are two things, general classification of maintenance problems. So mechanical, thermal, and chemical failure. So one failure may be mechanical, another failure may be thermal, and next may be chemical failure. And the classification of maintenance problem based on the time span. So it is short run maintenance problem and long run maintenance problem. So depending upon what time, so short or long, the time duration, it is decided. So let us discuss one by one in detail. General classification maintenance problem. So here, maintenance failure. So here you can see the mechanical, thermal, and chemical is explained. So in mechanical, what are the different things? So worn out bushings, bearings, and other moving parts. So the many in many of these car assemblies, you will find that many bushings are there and bearings are there and many moving parts are there. So these parts are worn out. So this is one type of failure due to mechanical means. Then the fatigue of machine member. Fatigue we have heard. So this fatigue failure of any machine member. Then creep of material at high temperature. If the machine is continuously operating at 500, 600 degrees Celsius, then the failure may be due to the creep. This is mechanical failure. Excessive forced vibration and misalignment. So there are always some desired vibrations. Beyond that, the machine cannot operate. So there are more forced vibrations and again some misalignment. So misalignment is also one of the things. See that everything, the gear and the bearing is manufactured 100%, no any problem as far as the manufacturing is concerned, but there is some defect in the alignment. They are not properly aligned. So you can see some, you can say that 0.5 mm center shift, and if this will rotate at 3000, 4000 rpm, then ultimately the impact loading condition on the gear due to the dynamic load acting on it, and further it will transfer to the bearing. So failure of the bearing and failure of gear will occur in these conditions. So these are the some of the examples of mechanical failure. Next is the thermal failure. So here in thermal case, overheating of any of the component. So overheating of the component, then lack of lubrication, then inadequate of cooling and electric insulation failure. Okay, so a thermal failure, overheating of the component. So any component is getting continuously overheated due to the temperature and due to the oil or any other conditions. The heat is not dissipated as per the requirement. So heat dissipation we have seen in machine design second, that providing the pins and other ways so that the heat will get dissipated. But after providing all the things also, the heat is not dissipated as per requirement and the component is getting overheated. So this is one of the thermal failure case. Then lack of lubrication. the lubrication is there, but it is not as per the requirement. So lack of lubrication will lead to overheating. Overheating will lead to the friction and wear, and again then failure occur. Then inadequate of cooling. So again, this is the similar point. So whatever your lubricant is rightly selected, lubricant flow is also right, but whatever the cooling is required, that cooling is not as per the requirement. So here cooling, here you take the example of gearbox. So here are two different approaches. So cooling of that oil which is circulated in that, and cooling of the general atmospheric conditions of the gear. So their fins can be provided again depending upon the rate of the heat generated. So heat generated should be equal to heat dissipated, and by using this you will get the one formula that we have discussed in MD second also, in your heat transfer also. So based on this, the what is the cooling rate is desired, and if your cooling rate is not proper, then ultimately the overheat will occur, and further then friction and failure will occur. Electrical insulation failure. So it is said that the insulator is there and the insulator is working as per the requirement. But if there is a failure in insulation itself, definitely it is due to the thermal failure. So these are the some of the examples of these thermal failure cases. Let us move further to the chemical failure. Highly corrosive fluids containing abrasive particles. So in any of the system, you have decided different parts. The different parts are there. Let us say the gearbox and any other component. And it is operated in such a condition where there are highly corrosive fluids and there are abrasive particles also. So if the oil get contaminated with the, definitely the ultimate failure of this occurs. Highly corrosive fluid. So you can take the example of chemical industry. You can take the example of any fertilizer industry. Okay, so where there is a highly corrosive fluids are there, and again if it will contain some abrasive particles, and if the part is rotating, then definitely it will get scratch or brinel and the failure will occur. So it is a combination of chemical plus mechanical. So like this. And then failure of protective lining like glass, rubber. So there is a protective lining is there. So this protective lining is fail, then also this chemical failure will occur. So this is due to the property of the fluids or chemicals. So this is the different types of maintenance problem in failure. So mechanical, thermal, and chemical. Now two more are there as per the second type of classification is concerned. So it is based on the time span. So short run production, long run production. Short run production. So maintenance problem which are carried out in a short period of time are known as short run production system. It may be hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. So depending upon the case, it may be hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. So it is short run production problem. So let us discuss one by one. Now, what is expected out, whether there are this hourly, then where is daily, where is weekly, and where is monthly. So again, we will go for some of the examples also. So inspection of correct lubricant, level of coolant, sharpness of cutting tool. So hourly, if you are using a single point cutting tool, then whether it is as per the standard format, whether the sharpness and the nose radius and the back angle, rake angle, etc. These all are. If all these angles are accurate, then only your material removal rate and surface finish will be accurate. So this just one example I want to put, that it is hourly inspection. Then correct lubricant. What is the lubricant? Whether it is available at that particular temperature, and what is the level of coolant desired, what is level of coolant available. So like this, there are many pointers are there which are addressed hourly basis. Then daily, the cleaning of machine. Then you can tightening of nuts, correct cooling, inspection of various indicators, major minor adjustment of parts. So friends, here the cleaning of machine. So daily after your shift is for example 8 hours. So after 8 hours, the cleaning of the machine, whatever the scrap or waste is there, to remove it and make the machine available for the next. Tightening of whatever nuts and bolts or any other parts or some of the parts required to check on daily basis. Then correct cooling, whether the cooling system is as per the requirement. And then inspection of various indicators. So if any machine is there, semi-automatic or automatic, what are the different indicators are there, and based on these indicators, whether any action is required to taken. And then minor adjustment of parts. So if there is some adjustment required at any part is concerned, some modification, so that the productivity and the quality and quantity can be enhanced, increased like this. So this is daily. Weekly, major adjustment, lubrication, tightening of parts. So weekly, here it is, we can say major adjustment. So apart from minor, some major adjustments are required. So it is in on weekly basis. Then lubrication system review is taken on weekly basis. Then tightening of different parts, it is also done on weekly basis. Monthly, checking for insulation. So if there is any part where some thermal insulation is provided, where some electric insulation is provided, whether it is working or not. Otherwise, there may be a condition of short circuit or any other case. Then corrosion, whether the parts that is operating with is getting corroded or not. There is any effect of the atmospheric contaminations based on in what area it is operating. Again, these are different things. If the same machine is operating in normal circumstances in any of the industry, automobile industry, in any of the fertilizer industry, in any of the chemical industry, the same gearbox is operating at 4 different cases, then this monthly or weekly specification may get changed, because a hazardous atmosphere will be there in the case of chemical and fertilizer as compared to the any generalized production shop. Then safety guards of monthly, whether any safety guards are additionally required, whatever the safety available with the machine, whatever the rotating parts are they sufficient? And if something happens, then are they in a position to provide the safety to the worker or manpower who is attending the machine? Checking of worn out or distorted part. So after monthly inspection, there is whether there is any worn out part, any part is required to replace, or any distorted part is there that where attention is required. So like this, there are different things which are required to address on monthly basis. So friends, this is the short run production problem where the hourly, daily, monthly, and weekly and monthly we have discussed. In a long run, it is not required to discuss. Complete preventive maintenance schedule and 3 months, 6 months, and yearly plans are there. The long run. Here, procedure for preventive maintenance. So directly we will discuss step by step. So rather than this, here is where it is mentioned in table. So again, I will take here directly. So it is job identification, then preparation of schedule, then preparation of history record, then job specification preparation, then maintenance program preparation, preparation of monthly, weekly maintenance program, then follow it and preparation of this inspection report, and then preparation of request for maintenance and corrective action. So here we will discuss in detail. That is only just a chart. So here that every step we will discuss in detail in this particular stage. So job identification by preparing facility engineer. To verify this first step of preventive maintenance procedure is to prepare the facility register, which defines that what is to be maintained. So very first, any facility a register is required and what is to be maintained. So this is very first step to identify the job where this preventive maintenance and the schedule is required. Preparation of maintenance schedule, next step. In this step, the maintenance schedule is prepared. So it is simply a comprehensive list of all incident and their name of incident. So it is just a schedule, and all the name of incidents, there are, assume that 8 different incidents. Again, that 8, again under number 1, there are 3 incidences. So like this, just putting all the list, simply a comprehensive list, this is nothing but called as the schedule. It gives the useful information regarding the method, time, and place of maintenance. Besides, it also provides the secondary information about maintenance, manpower requirement, etc. So very first, it is identified, job is identified for maintenance. Then second part is to prepare the maintenance schedule. So what is this maintenance schedule? It is the list, you can say. It is a comprehensive, collecting all the things. So it is a list of all incidences and their time of incidence. When? List of all and time of incidence when? Means what and when? The two questions are addressed here. Then it gives the useful information regarding the method, time, and place. How, when, where? The maintenance. So method, what is the method of maintenance? At what time we will go for it, when it should be there, and where it should be there. And besides, or by without means apart from this, it is also provided the secondary information about maintenance manpower requirement. So this is also very important, because if you go for selecting all these points and again all the procedure, but the persons who will go for carrying this maintenance is nothing but the maintenance manpower, and it is also required to take in account this manpower also. It gives the various details regarding maintenance, like what, when, how, where. So I have explained you just in these two lines, that what means here comprehensive list, what, when, the time, how, the method, and place of maintenance, where. So it address all the points, what, when, how, where. Then further, friends, let us move further. It is step number 3, preparation of history card. What is history card then? So it is not only gives the useful information about the result of maintenance event, but also furnishes the essential details about regarding the use of machines free of failures and failure modes. History card. So history name only indicates what is history. If you consider any of the machine, and if I will take the history for last 5 years, then I will get all the information as per the maintenance events and the essential details regarding the use of machines, how many times failure occurred, what was the causes of failure, what was the mode of failure, and free of failures, etc., etc. So this is the preparation of history card based on what work center or what is suggested, that what is in the schedule list. Prepare the history card of the same, and history card will give all the required information. And further, preparation of job specification. In this step, the job specification is prepared. This simply document which provide the essential information regarding the maintenance work to be done. So job specification, in this step the job specification is prepared. It is simply the document which will provide the essential information regarding maintenance work to be done. Job specification, what maintenance work is required to be performed. This is nothing but the job specification. What work is required to be performed. In general practice, these job details are specification compiled from maintenance schedule. There are means of communicating the engineer requirement to the guide the workers. They are prepared separately for each job. So here you can see the job specification means what are the different things or related to maintenance work that are required to be done for that particular thing which or machine which is under consideration. So it compiles all the maintenance schedules. Latter point we have all discussed, all the maintenance schedule. So it presents an overall show or picture of the present and future maintenance commitment. So, okay, this is not, just wait. So they are prepared separately for each job. So this is about the job specification. So friends, first job identified, then maintenance schedule is prepared, then history card. What is the history for that particular maintenance, and then job specification is prepared. Now prepare for maintenance program, and then again bifurcation in weekly, monthly. So it is the sequential list which allocate the specific maintenance work to a specified period. So what is the program for this particular maintenance time? So in this case, preparation of maintenance programming. So it is a sequential list which allocate the specific maintenance work to specified period. So this is the task of maintenance for this machine, and it will be performed in the first week of January. This is the task, and it will be performed in the third week of January. So specific work and in the specified period. In order to apply the job specification, the maintenance program is generally prepared for long run when the machine equipment are to be inspected. So it is a not good practice, because an industry can not prepare a long run production well in advance if too many factors arise, and they will result into change in production and maintenance requirement. So this maintenance program, it will give you a present and future overall picture of the maintenance commitment. What is the maintenance program for any of the machine as per the present scenario, and in future means what is the scenario for next 6 months. It is the maintenance programming. It is the maintenance programming. Preparation of weekly, monthly maintenance programs. Here, in this case, now we have prepared the maintenance program. Now, weekly and monthly programs. So, next stage of plant maintenance procedure is to prepare weekly, monthly. So, that is master schedule. Maintenance program is ready now, weekly and monthly. And what it will include? Recondition and replacing the oils, then repairing and replacing the worn out parts. So what is in that maintenance program? So reconditioning or replacing the lubricating oil. So changing of the lubricating oil after intervals of time, then repairing and replacing the worn out parts. So let us check whether the worn out parts are required to be repaired. If it is possible to repair, repair. If again there is one decision that repair or replace. So based on the decision, it is required to replace. So this is also important. Then checking all the electrical connections of the system. So again, this is one type of this preventive maintenance. So checking all the electrical connect after a certain time, that whether all are safe. Checking the control system. Control system, it is a closed system. So for that machine, what is the control system is there? Checking it whether it is giving the correct feedback signals and the data as per requirement. Checking the performance of each part. What this will give? Gear is okay, bearing is okay, thermocouples are working, they are giving good results, shaft is running okay, no any misalignment is there. This will ensure that if there is any problem, that what is the reason for arising that, or what is the why the problem occurs. So this is the checking the performance of each part, whether every part in the gearbox is performing as per the requirement or not. Just one example I am giving. So checking performance of each part. If there are several parts, then checking or ensuring that every part will work as per the schedule or as per the requirement. Cleaning the interior parts like spark plug, filter, radiator, crank case, etc. cylinder. So this is one example given as far as this automobile is concerned. It is given. So checking the interior part like spark plug. So let us take example of any of the automobile. So you can say here this spark plug and the air filter and the radiators in the four-wheeler case and the crankcase and the cylinder. So these are the different parts that are required to be checked and required to be cleaned on these periodic intervals, and it will lie under the long run maintenance program. So this is the weekly or monthly maintenance program is there, and we have discussed all the small details that are required to be considered in this weekly or monthly program. Then prepare inspection report. Now if maintenance program is over, then prepare the inspection report. So here sorry, this step is followed after the maintenance program is over. This is simply a document which furnishes the useful information about the maintenance inspection which are performed in past. So what are the maintenance inspection that are performed in the past, and based on that a report is prepared. This is the next of the maintenance program. So maintenance program is ready. Then what is inspection? What are the different inspections required that are already performed in the past, and what is the list of all this? So this is nothing but the inspection report preparation. Then preparing the maintenance request. The next step under this plant maintenance procedure is preparation of maintenance request. It is simply a document of various suggestions and recommendations given by the inspection report. So let us see the inspection report, and then one will come to know that there are many suggestions. The suggestions are nothing but the feedback, or I can say rather useful feedback. It comes out from the users and workers. So this is nothing but the maintenance request, and last is the feedback mechanism. Feedback, it is always the last step. In the last step, the application of corrective and control actions are available on the basis of feedback mechanism. These corrective actions should be applied to respective plant facilities. So these, after having this detailed program, then the bifurcation program, then inspection schedule, where then some corrective measures are given, then the corrective and control actions are available basis on the feedback mechanism. This corrective actions should be applied to respective plant facilities at the initial stage of maintenance planning or design. So friends, this is about the, we can say the procedure for preventive maintenance, how this preventive maintenance is perform in any of the industry. Schedule of preventive maintenance. So it is simply a comprehensive list of all the indent and their time of incident. So schedule, what is schedule? There is a list and when it will occur. This is nothing but the schedule. So it gives following useful information. You can see what is to be done or maintained. First one, what, how, and when. It is nothing but schedule. Beside this, it may also provide the secondary information regarding the place of maintenance and maintenance requirement. In addition to this, so very first, what is primary requirement? So primary, it is the what is to be done or maintained. Very important. What is to be done or what is requirement of this maintenance? What, then how it is maintained, and when it is to be maintained. And apart from this, it will also give the place where and any specific requirement of the maintenance, that also it will focus. So this is friends about the schedule for preventive maintenance. So if you take the example of this any late machine, it may be after 15 days or a month. So here you can say what is to be maintained, just a late machine, after how it is to be maintained. So what is the procedure, what the different aspects you will go for checking. So one can say that the headstock and the balancing and the tailstock alignment with the headstock and the guideways and the cross slide and this then lead screw mechanism and the vibrations and noise condition, etc., etc., how it is to be maintained, when it is to be maintained, 7 days, 15 days, or exact schedule of this maintenance. Friends, so this is about the preventive maintenance. Let us move further and starting the next point. So there are 2 points still remaining in this chapter. One is TPM, total productive maintenance, and last is reliability and testing. So this TPM, so let us start some, let us discuss some of these introduction to TPM, then definition. Then what are the different losses? Then what is the necessity of TPM? Why TPM is required, and what are the stages in TPM? So these are the different points that we will be discussing, and if time permits, we will go further also. So let us start. This total productive maintenance is originated in Japan in 1970. This is somewhat about history as the method of improved machine availability through better utilization of maintenance and production resources. So this is one of the approach which is originated in 1971 in Japan. It can be considered as medical science of machines. Medical science of machines. So total productive maintenance is a maintenance program which involves newly defined concept for maintaining plants and equipment. So here, up till now, we have discussed different types of maintenance. So TPM is nothing but a newly defined concept of maintaining plants and equipment. So it is a maintenance program in which there are some novel concept regarding the maintenance of plant and equipment are given. The goal of TPM program is to markedly increase the production. What this TPM aims? The TPM aims at increase the production, at the same time increase the employee morale and job satisfaction. The employee should feel motivated, the morale of the employee should be high, there should be a feeling of job satisfaction, and at the same time a rapid increase or good increase in the production rate. So these are the main goals of this production, this total productive maintenance TPM system. Okay. The TPM brings into focus maintenance into focus as a necessary and vitally important part of the business. It is no longer regarded as a non-profit activity. So TPM, it is then not considered as this, no longer regarded as non-profit activity. Downtime for maintenance is scheduled as a part of manufacturing day, and in some cases an integral part of manufacturing process. The goal is to hold emergency and unscheduled maintenance to minimum. So what is the main aim of this? To hold the emergency and unscheduled. So breakdown of any working center, machining center. So it is unscheduled maintenance. So to keep this maintenance at minimum level, to hold this emergency that is coming as emergency, not planned, unplanned maintenance and unscheduled maintenance. So the main aim of this TPM, total productive maintenance, is to keep this emergency maintenance, unplanned maintenance to a minimum level. This is very important. The TPM has got okay. So the TPM has got twin objectives, that zero breakdown and zero defect. Very important. Up till now, not in a single list. Now we have heard about quality, but we have not heard about the zero defect as far as any maintenance policy is concerned. So total productive maintenance, it says that it is having the objective or aim of zero defect, no any defect. So zero defect is one of the concepts, and zero breakdown. There should not be any breakdown of as a good maintenance system, and this is nothing but total productive maintenance. When the breakdown and defects are eliminated, the equipment utilization will improve. See, if there is no breakdown, the machine will run 100%. It will be maximum utilization will be there, and zero defect, again loss of material, loss of manpower, loss of machine time, all will be saved, and again utilization will improve, and the costs are reduced and inventory at its lower level. So these are the aims of this TPM. Okay, then once again have a discussion about different approaches related to TPM. So TPM is defined as the productive maintenance involving the total participation. So it is the productive maintenance which involves the total participation. So the complete definition includes there are different 5 elements that TPM aims to maximize equipment effectiveness. Very important. Aims to maximize the equipment effectiveness. So equipment should be effective. So this total productive maintenance aims at maximum effective equipment. Then it establishes a thorough system of productive maintenance for entire lifespan of the equipment. So TPM establishes a thorough system for productive maintenance for entire lifespan of the equipment. You consider any lathe machine, entire lifespan of the lathe machine. You consider any drilling machine, what is the total lifespan related to that? TPM is to be implemented company wide. Very important. It is not only for production. TPM is to be implemented company wide. So in engineering, like design, in operations, in maintenance, everywhere it is there, company wide. TPM involves each and every employee. This is very important. So here you can say total participation here. So a contribution or involvement of all the employees or all the workers are required in this TPM. It is based on promotion of this preventive maintenance through motivation management. The word total is the total productive maintenance refers to. See, this it is based on this productive maintenance through motivation management. Total effectiveness indicate the pursuit of economic efficiency or profitability. Total effectiveness. What is this total indicate? The effectiveness should be in such a way that in pursuit of taking the follow continuously for economic efficiency or profitability. Profitability should be higher. Then total maintenance system includes maintenance prevention and corrective maintenance and also preventive maintenance. This total, it includes the maintenance prevention. So very less maintenance should be there after breakdown, corrective maintenance and preventive maintenance. And it ensures the total participation of all the employees. This is very important. Total participation of all the employees. To achieve the overall equipment effectiveness, TPM work to eliminate the 6 big losses. See here, there are 6 big losses given. And if these 6 big losses are eliminated, these are the obstacles to the equipment effectiveness. If the losses are there, the equipment is not effective. So these are the obstacles in equipment effectiveness. The 6 big losses are represented in the table. So you can see here, number 1, downtime. So here you can see the equipment failure from breakdowns. So if any equipment fail, then it is downtime. Failure from breakdowns. Setup and adjustment. One job is over, it is taken. Next job, some time is required for setting the job and some adjustment, and then it will start working. So this is the second. So downtime, there are two categories. So failure due to background equipment failures, and then this is setup and adjustment. So some time is required here. So these are the two losses related to downtime. Then idling and minor stoppage. So there are some cases where the machine man material is idle or some minor stoppage. For some time it is stopped. So abnormal operation of sensor, some blockages, the sensor is not working as per the requirement. Some of the blockages are there. Okay. And so another is the reduce the speed. So whatever the speed desired, that 10 jobs per hour from a lathe machine, but we are getting the 9. So lag by 1. So this is the speed losses. And the defect, the process defect due to scrap and defect and the reduced yield. The process defect, if you are following any one of the process, any chemical or any casting process, and you are getting the product defective due to scrap and due to defect. So if there are more defects, if they are required to be attacked, or if it is beyond the limit, so the product can be not be considered as a quality product and one has to reject it. So it is scrap. Reduce the yields due to this defect. Reduce, for example, that in a casting you take a factory where there are 12 different castings are manufactured in a shift. So in that 12, there are porosity and some blowholes like defects in 4 castings, and they are not accepted. So these 4 castings are, we have to make it as a scrap. So here ultimately it will have this response or effect on the yield, and we can call it as reduced yield. And why TPM? Now having this much idea that total, what total indicated and its effectiveness and involvement of all the employees, etc. Kind of motivated management, like this, all these things we have discussed. Now the TPM was introduced to achieve the following objectives, and some are given here. Avoid wastage in a quickly changing economic environment. Very first, there should not be wastage. Avoiding wastage in the quick changing economic environment, because if any wastage is there, definitely there will be a loss. So this is avoiding the wastage. Then producing goods without reducing product quality. So enhancing the productivity, enhancing the capacity, producing the required goods without reducing the product quality. Quality should be there, and in addition to that, quality should go with quantity. And here we can say that the goods are required to be produced without hampering the quality. Reduce cost. If wastage is lesser, goods are produced in required quantity with the required quality, definitely the cost will be reduced. Produce a low batch quantity at the earliest possible time. Low batch quantity. See here, the work should be divided into batches and in the minimum possible time. The how the low batch can be, or any typical, you can say batch of 100, 200, 500 as per the requirement, how it can be manufactured. And goods sent to the customer must be non-defective. Very, very important. We have heard this word zero defect, ZD. It is the one of the aim of this total productive management. Though you are achieving the quantity, minimum wastage, etc., but not a single defective, a single defective part should be sent to customer. So goods that are required to get sent to customer, it should be only and only non-defective. There should not be any defect. Okay, friends. So let us stop here. Thank you.